Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 236 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If you are a first-time listener, then before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button in your podcast player to ensure you do not miss a single dose of weekly tips and advice for growing your membership. Trust me, you'll thank me for it. Hit that subscribe button and welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you found us. If you're a long-term listener, you know I love you. You know I appreciate you joining me each and every week. And I'm so grateful for all of your continued support for our podcast. Today, we're talking about ways in which you can discover what your audience really want from your membership. Ask yourself honestly, do you know what people in your audience actually want from your membership site? When you're planning out a membership, it's very easy to fall into the trap of building something that we think would be good, rather than something that's based on research into what your audience really want and need. We focus on something that ticks our boxes, rather than actually looking beyond our own opinions and our own needs and our own interests and tapping in to our actual audience. And when you do that, you risk spending hours creating content, investing in developing features and so on, only to be left scratching your head when people simply don't engage in the way that you hope that they will. Whether it's with your membership offering, your blog, podcast, or video channel, or even just the content you're posting on social media, looking further and discovering what people actually want and need is critical to connecting with your audience and driving them to action. So, here are just 4 ways to discover what your audience actually want. The first is to engage in social listening. Your audience does not begin and end with the people on your email list. Potential members are out there discussing their problems, asking questions, sharing their frustrations, and a lot more in a variety of locations around the internet, including in other online communities and other membership sites, in social media groups on Facebook and LinkedIn, in the comment sections of blogs, on Twitter, where they're connecting via hashtags and Twitter chats and stuff like that, or on Q&A sites like Quora and Yahoo Answers. The simplest way to learn more about your audience is to find out where they are and then spend time around them, listening and paying attention to what they're saying. In doing so, you'll discover what questions are most commonly asked, what the major pains and problems they experience are, what knowledge and skill gaps exist, and what desires and goals your audience have. And you'll also pick up on the language that they use when expressing their frustrations, when talking about their problems, when asking questions. You can then mirror that language within your marketing, within your messaging, when it comes to you actually providing solutions to those problems. So that's one of the best ways of discovering what your audience want, engaging in social listening. Another is to conduct surveys. You want to know what people want? Just cut to the chase and outright ask them. Conducting surveys and questionnaires with your audience is the most direct way of getting feedback on specific questions and specific topics that will help you to refine your membership offering, your content strategy, and a lot more. So this could be in the form of a multi-question deep dive survey, or it could be simply posing a single question to your email subscribers and inviting them to hit reply to that email and give you their response. One of the best questions in the world to ask is simply, what is the number one problem you are experiencing with this topic right now? If you send out that blanket open question to your email list, the responses you get are going to give you a huge degree of insight into the biggest problems and pain points that exist within your audience. That gives you a wealth of knowledge and information that you can then tap into in order to ensure that not only is the membership you're creating a one that's actually going to address the things your audience really are concerned with, but also that the podcast episodes and the blogs that you write, the videos you create are going to resonate with them too. And you can run these surveys using tools like SurveyMonkey, Typeform, Google Forms. WordPress have a variety of different form builders and survey tools like Gravity Forms. You have systems like Response Suite, which is a local company up here. They have fantastic surveying software. Surveys like this give you such a wealth of information, but keep in mind that what people say, what people do, and what people say that they do are all usually different things. Behavior and preference don't always line up. So you need to make sure that you're complementing any surveys that you do and any data you get from your surveys, along with the other things that we're talking about in today's episode, in order to get a clearer picture of how your audience behave and what they're most driven and drawn towards. Third thing to do in order to really drill down into what your audience really need is to spend some time researching and observing market trends. It's important that you have your finger on the pulse of what is happening in your market. Make sure you're subscribed to RSS feeds and email updates from the most prominent blogs, podcasts, and video channels from the thought leaders in your industry, particularly ones that your audience are also following. Identify the biggest influencers in your space. Connect with them on social media. Pay attention to what they're talking about. What questions are they being asked? What are they excited about? What frustrates them? Popular influencers in a market help to amplify what is going on within their audience. So if the audience you're looking to serve with your membership is the same as the audience that these influencers are serving, or if there's some sort of overlap, then make sure you're paying attention. Also, attending industry conferences can be a great way of staying ahead of the curve, as well as a fantastic way to meet influencers as well as people who are in your audience face to face, giving you the opportunity to really probe deeper into what makes them tick. So make sure you have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in your market and that you're on top of market trends. Fourth, you want to make sure that you are crunching the numbers, collecting data on how your audience is engaging with you. If you want to stand any chance of figuring out what's actually resonating with your audience, then at the very least, you need to be collecting data on how they use your website. Now, Google Analytics is the most common tool that is used for this. While it's not the only web analytics service out there, it's one of the most extensive and widely used. And of course, it's free too. So if you don't already have this set up, or you don't have some sort of analytics in place on your website, you're flying blind. Because if you're creating content, you need to get data on which content is the most read, the most linked to, that is converting best, and that helps keep people on your website for longer. That data can be revealing in terms of identifying the topics that your audience are most interested in and potentially want to hear more about. This doesn't just relate to your public content either. You should have analytics installed on your membership too, in order to see which courses, tutorials, or other membership content that your members are consuming the most. In addition to analytics from how people are using your website, the stats that are provided by social media platforms will also show you which posts and which content are performing best and getting the biggest reactions. Email marketing services will also give you reports on open rates and click-through rates. Podcast hosting services will show you how many times your show is being downloaded, which episodes are the most popular. So make sure that you're getting all of this data and that you're not only collecting it, but that you're regularly taking time out to analyze it in order to figure out which buttons are being pressed with your audience and what they want more of. So combining these 4 methods of researching your audience by engaging in social listening, conducting surveys and soliciting feedback, observing market trends and keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on in your space, gathering data, crunching the numbers, and analyzing what's working, what's resonating, and what's not. This will all help you to not only hone in on the problems, pains, questions, desires, frustrations, and even the ideas that your audience have, but more importantly will help you to better figure out the best way to help that audience in terms of creating the right solution to their problems via your membership site. So if you're not taking the time to truly understand what your audience want and what your audience need, then you need to change that right away. Because when you strip everything else away, when you put aside the idea of running a membership or doing coaching or consulting, selling courses, whatever, put all that aside, ultimately, at the root of what all of us are doing in business is we are providing solutions to problems. And you cannot craft a suitable solution until you truly understand what the problem is. These 4 things we talked about today will help you to do just that. So, hopefully you found today's episode useful. If you're not already spending time investing resources in gathering information and researching and really connecting with your audience to try to understand what they want, you can now start doing that. Trust me, it'll make a world of difference, not only in ensuring that the content you put out there publicly as part of your content marketing strategy is going to hit the right mark more than it probably currently is, but also that your membership will be one that people will stick with for months and years to come because it is fine-tuned to directly address the issues, the problems, and the needs that they have because you've spent that time to ensure that you understand what your audience want and need. That's it from me for this week. Thanks so much for downloading today's episode and spending a little time with me. I'll be back again next week with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. The Membership Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks, and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice, the Membership Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership website. Check it out at membershipacademy.com.